Hey guys, Vern's here with his AFL Supercoach Round 5 review. Welcome back to all those that have been tuning in on the journey so far. I really appreciate those that have subscribed and have come back to rewatch the videos. I know, not many people have subscribed, and that's fine. I'm very grateful to all of those that have. At the end of the day, I just want to, put out these YouTube videos, keep you all up to date with how my team's traveling, and really just talk about it. I've really enjoyed doing these videos, just being able to talk about it myself, honestly, and even listen back to it myself and be like, yeah, no, I'm really happy with what I talked about there. I think I made, good points, and I'm just happy with it overall. So I've just been enjoying it myself, and for those that have been enjoying it with me and have subscribed or come back to watch the videos, I really appreciate those. All those that have left comments as well, I know there hasn't been too many of those either, but I get back to those, so feel free to keep leaving those questions down below, make those comments. I'll get back to you and I'll give you my thoughts. Obviously, don't have to follow what I say, it's your team at the end of the day, but I'll give you the best opinion I have. So yeah, I really appreciate all that. Glad I covered that, so let's jump into it. How did the week actually unfold? 2,191. Honestly, not too bad. I've seen a lot of other people's scores this round not be too good and taken a real big backward step. So only down 712 ranks. Honestly, not so bad. I lost Rookie Roulette this week. We tanked the hole, unfortunately, because he was one of our pods. Obviously, Short and Grundy had down games as well, but everybody wears those. We had the antipod of JHF? Yeah. Horn Francis, yep, that's it. And then we actually had the Horn Francis of Horn Francis of Ral. What am I saying, guys? I had the antipod of Ral. I know you guys are thinking, what? The answer is I traded Ral last week. You'll all see that once we jump into it. Worked out pretty well for me, so I did dodge those two antipods, and I think that's what really maintained my score to be not too bad. But yeah, midfield rookies are pretty standard. I'm not going to be putting Ward or Stevens or McDonald on field. Same with forward line, I'm not putting DeConning or Durden on field, so that was always going to stack up the way they were. But the Ruck and defense line were the only ones I was switching back and forth, and unfortunately I missed both of those, lost both of those. 80 points down the drain, not too bad overall. It happens. We won Rookie Roulette last week. I think we did the correct play this week. It just didn't end up working out, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll jump into it. We'll have a look, and we'll see what happened here. So we'll start off with our defense line. Very first play we get to talk about Crisp. So we could jump straight into that Collingwood game. I'm so sad we lost that. I really felt like we had the momentum going. And if Archie didn't get that, I think it was Archie, got the tackle on Crisp at the end, just got the back of his jersey as he's falling down and managed to pull him down with him. We were out. We were out to the races. We were going to kick that goal, then we were going to run the momentum through, and I think we had them. It was so unfortunate. Also, massive scaling down for Crisp because he gave away the free kick at a crucial moment, so it just sucked across the board. But no, I mean, look, I was much happy with how we played as a team in that game, which was really awesome. Competitive with Lions, who are a really good side. We just need to finish these games. There's so many close games we've had this season. We've thrown away the lead against Geelong. We threw the game against West Coast, and then we almost ran back with Lions, but didn't quite get there, unfortunately. At 114, honestly, he played a good game, and he gave away like 2 free kicks at the end that were like crucial, and the 50-meter that he gave away as well, Crisp. He had massive scaling against him. He was pushing a 130, and he ruined it. Oh, that 50 was so bad as well, so frustrating. Oh well. It's okay, because Crisp is playing well the last few weeks. He's bouncing back, and he's durable, so we can rely on good scores. Next one, Dawson. So frustrating he is. 50 points at half time, you're thinking, yeah, this is good. He's having a good, consistent game here. And then 8 points in the third quarter. He goes from 50 to 58. I'm just sitting there like, kill me. He's going to get an 80. He's just ruined it. Comes out with a massive 43-point fourth quarter. Dawson, mate. Like, the consistency. Can you just have a bit more consistency in your quarters? This is how many weeks in a row has he come out and smashed out like a 40-point final quarter to salvage a good enough score to be like, yeah, it's a pass. If you could just have 3 quarters of good footy and then pump that out. Sorry, not good footy. He's a good player. Just some good scoring. Maybe push towards a 70 or 80 before the quarter ends. And then a 40-point final quarter, push a 120. Awesome. That would feel great. So he keeps scraping through, Dawson does. He keeps scraping through. Short, next one, had a terrible score. Richmond got belted by Adelaide, and all Richmond defenders, well, not all Richmond defenders, Short and Rioli both had terrible games. So, I didn't see this game, but obviously seems like, I don't know if they had those players manned a bit harder, because you can't let that run and carry happen. Or what exactly was happening there? But I'm sure Adelaide probably had pressure on those two, knowing that their attack from the back line is really what, helped Richmond in their last 2 wins, just having such good transition from the back line straight into the forward line and getting those goals. So maybe they had them a bit more pressure on them, prevent them from being able to do that, but then obviously very much hinder their scoring for our Supercoach, unfortunately. Now the next one. Now I can talk about my trades. George Hewitt finally into my team, and I am so glad to see him there. Oh my goodness, 111 on the board. Awesome. I wish we had him from round 1, but it's okay. Ral is out of the team. I was sitting there, and Hewitt has to come in. We knew we were moving on Hinged because we wanted O'Driscoll, so we moved him down. We had about 100k sitting there, and I'm just thinking, what's the point of me sitting on Ral or Lipinski that aren't keepers, that were mid-prices, stepping stones, sort of meant to be making us some money, good value picks, if there's a keeper that's 70k more expensive? Like, why don't I just get him? So that's what I did. I just flipped him into the team. George Hewitt came into my team. Huge point difference, which is massive, but that's not really the one I'm comparing. What I'm comparing is a Lipinski versus Rao score, because I originally moved Lipinski out for Hewitt because I was so annoyed at just how he was playing, but after some careful consideration, I decided Rao was the correct one to move on. So I moved Rao instead, kept Lipinski, worked out in spades this week. Ral had that 64 game, I think. Lipinski with the 96, so 32-point bonus from that. I was always bringing Hewitt in, and it's great to see him in there. Hall, we're going to have to trade that man out for, I think, 3 weeks minimum. Like, I don't know the timeline on that, but he did a hammy. Like, he did his hammy. You'd think there's no short recovery to this. I'm saying 3 weeks minimum as, like, really positive. Like, it's probably much worse than that. But I haven't seen the injury report, so I don't know how long he is going to be. I accidentally clicked on my Twitch stream rather than my Twitch recording. Sorry, on my OBS recording, as to why my mate was sending me that. The answer is no, I am not streaming. But yeah, Hall. Awesome game, though, unfortunately. He played less than 2 full quarters of footy and pumped out a 71. He was going for a massive 140. So disappointing that Norton got him on that tackle and he was just done. What sucks too is just Hall's performance. We brought him in as a huge durability risk, but with so much upside that we just thought, if he goes off with the 2% that own him, I think he got up to as high as 4% because people realized they wanted him. There's just so much value. It's just unbelievable value. Like, it can be winning for the Supercoach entire year to start a pick like that. Just works out. Unfortunately, it didn't. It bounced back. It ended up being a negative. He had a pretty poor average for what we wanted. He dropped 70k, and now he's injured, so now he's a must trade. That's huge. That's really terrible. Obviously, this is meant to be upgrade season. I'm actually thinking another week. Look, a lot of my rookies don't look ready to be traded. They haven't made enough money yet, or they have lots more money to make, and there's no good downgrade options. I'm not looking at the downgrade options thinking, I need this man. O'Driscoll, last week, I needed him. You can consider last week an upgrade, because I went from Rao to Hewitt. I went from a mid-pricer to a keeper. So, last week was more or less an upgrade week. So, I think we're going to take a step back this week. We're not going to upgrade at all. I know, sort of off topic, but Hall would have actually really ruined the start of upgrade season if we were going to upgrade this week. I just don't know if we're going to do that. I think Hall ends up being a sideways, and Bruce obviously has to come into the team. So that's what we'll do this week, and then we'll worry about upgrades next week. But yeah, Gibkiss didn't play. As we can see, we used him as a loop for McCartan. Kind of annoying. And McCartan, 68's a pretty good score. I'd be pretty happy with 68. I know O'Driscoll's score average is really... It's off-putting seeing 68, like his average right now, but his average is incorrect because of his 18 points that he got in his medical sub-game. So his average is actually much better when he's been playing. But honestly, to pump out almost a 70 as a rookie, it's a good enough score in my opinion. And I felt like O'Driscoll's going to get around that mark, and there's a good chance he could get below it. Unfortunately, he comes in and pumps out a 103, 35 points down the drain. And that's what we're talking about losing the rookie roulette. I feel like we made the correct play playing 68 points on field. I know Freo into Essendon have been just bleeding Supercoach points to everyone. And O'Driscoll looked so good last week too. I went back and watched that game during the week. I had so much time to watch games during the week. And it just really... It sucks, but it's at least good that we got him in our team. We've got the cash flow in our team. He's going to be making us money. Awesome. He'll be on our on-field option next week. So... we get over that. We did win the captain battle, though. We got McRae this week. We talked about it last week. Just a simple Lockie Neal into McRae. The week before, I talked about the simple Touk Miller into McRae, or McRae into Touk Miller, and then we just didn't do it. It didn't technically not work out. At the end of the day, Heaney was our vice with 131, but 27 more points if we had it on McRae. So this week, we stuck with what we said, stayed with McRae, and... awesome, 153, highest scorer in our team, so we nailed the captain this week. Super, super good. And he's just looking like an absolute premium pick. Neil, 117, absolute premium pick. Like, these guys, brilliant starts to the year. Like, I don't care what midfielders you started at the end of the day. If you didn't start these two, oh, painful. Even if these two were your only premiums. Awesome. Amazing. Great. So yeah, those two, stunning. I think Neil was on track for a much bigger score and really slowed down towards the end of the game. Which, you know, hey, we were making the comeback. I don't really care if Neil didn't get that hot shot of a score because I think everyone had the VC on him if Collingwood got the win. But we didn't, unfortunately, and Neil ended up with a pretty average score. But McRae bounced back, so... sorry, carried us through, so awesome. Miller, 107. Yeah, a bit weird. He's plodding along. Look, we know Miller's that guy that has it in his tank to drop a 140 to 150, and he can do that 4 or 5 times in the year. And that will really boost up his average towards that 120 mark. So look, this is fine. He's still hitting the ton. It's still not a bad score. Lipinski. So, this was the Rel versus Lipinski discussion that I was looking at. Overall, we were talking about Lipinski versus Hewitt, and technically, Lipinski was 80 points less and made... I think 20 less K, so that was unfortunate that worked out that way, but we got Hewitt into the team, and I was comparing Lipinski and Rao. I think their break-evens were very similar, the averages were very similar, but Rao's score last week didn't look very good. As much as Lipinski, I didn't like what he was doing, he's still scoring good Supercoach points. It felt like Rao had a much lower floor than Lipinski, even though he had a higher ceiling, but it did feel like that floor was going to be a bit more common than the ceiling sort of thing. So I decided to go with Lipinski. I looked at it, Lipinski's lowest game was 79, Rao's lowest game was 64, and people said obviously he took the hard knock from Mackay. I went back and watched that game myself actually. As much as he took the knock, he got up and just played the game like there wasn't anything wrong, so I don't actually really feel like it affected him. It just must have hit one of those spots where there was actually minimal damage done to him. And so, or if it was serious damage, then it's bounced over to this week and he's had 2 terrible games in a row. Maybe it's still lingering. I don't know. But he ended up having 2 bad games in a row. Lipinski bounced back with a 96. All sort of came together in that fourth quarter. He had a massive score in the fourth quarter as well. I think he was 50. He was 50 something in the third. And then, yeah, put out like 48 points or so in the fourth, which really saved him. So that was awesome from Lipinski. Yeah, I just felt like the other thing was right there. I forgot to mention this, guys, but we have the DPP coming in. Lipinski got the forward status. He played so much forward in that game that there was no way he wasn't getting it because Pendlebury was up tagging Neil. Lipinski getting forward status is massive. And you want to know why? Because look at his average. He's actually got a better average than Butters. He's got a better average than Cogs. People are considering Butters and Cogs as keepers. Lipinski's got better averages than them. I said this. If Lipinski gets forward status, he could very well just be a forward keeper. So right now, I think Lipinski is a forward keeper. So awesome. That was the other big thing that I was tossing up. Raul, at best case scenario, is a mid-price, a mid that we're going to have to upgrade later on. Lipinski potentially gets the forward status and ends up a forward keeper. So that's the difference. If I traded Lipinski to Hewitt, I could be moving keeper to keeper. But if I move Raul to Hewitt, I was moving a mid-pricer to a keeper, so it was a definite win. So that was another big reason I made that trade before I even watched the Raul game, and then I watched the Raul game and I wasn't impressed with him. So, awesome. Lipinski gets forward status. Nuts. That's another keeper in the bank. Worst case scenario, if he doesn't end up being a keeper, we keep him until round 14 because he's going to be at least a good F6 for a long time, and then we can flip him at the buys if need be. So, awesome. That's so good that he got that. I also just noticed Dawson got the mid switch as well. So amazing. Oh my goodness. Actually amazing. Dacos got his defensive status. McDonald got his forward status so we can get him out of there. Actually, he's going to be better off where he is now that I look at that. Yeah, awesome. Actually awesome. So that's amazing. That's worked out so well for us, that trade. So once again, another correct trade from us. 2 weeks in a row, we've made good trades that have gained us points and have just been better for the team structure overall. So we're making the good trades. We're going to keep climbing these ranks. We're going to keep moving forward. Things are honestly going well. We had a bit of a down week, but you're not going to smash it every week. Sometimes your players have bad scores. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but we have the antipod of Raul, so we dodged his 64. We have the antipod of JHF. Jason Horn-Francis. He dropped, I think, a 39. So massive. People are running him on field. Well, who did we go instead of Jason Horn-Francis? We went, boom, Cardwell. 79. Cardwell was already winning the points game over the last 2 weeks, and now he's put it out by a good 40 points more. So he's earned us about 50 more points on field. Money-wise, he's probably earned us just as much as Horn-Francis, with Horn-Francis having that terrible game, and he'll make more moving forward because Horn-Francis is going to stunt his cash growth. So Cardwell ended up being the pick. As I mentioned, Bowie probably should have been the pick. Bowie actually had a good game this week, then came back with an 89. But because of his poor last week, I think Cardwell's going to catch him in price, and he's definitely earned more points for us in the last 2 weeks of game. Well, technically 3 weeks in gameplay now. So our trades have been amazing. Heaney worked out. Cardwell worked out. Hewitt worked out. So we're making the correct trades, and that's the most important part. We are making the correct plays. So yes, I know I skipped over it. Will Brody, 94, awesome, 400k already. This man, 99.2, technically higher average than Butter and Cogs again. This man, everyone else is talking about being a forward keeper. He was technically rated 6th overall in forwards last week. We'll check out where he is a bit later, and we'll compare who the top forwards are once we see these extra DPP statuses come in. So I'm really keen to give all that a look once we're done with this. But yeah, Brody, awesome. Cardwell, awesome. I think this is what really kept us afloat. We had really good midfield. No real low scores there. Yeah, we tanked the short in the back half and the whole, but our other premiums definitely lifted the load. Yeah, Dacos, 71, not bad. Actually, I skipped Barry there, 76 himself, not bad. He slowed, did he slow down? I forgot exactly. He might have slowed down or sped up in the fourth quarter. I don't quite remember which way he went. But not bad. He had actually quite a consistent game, 76. Yeah, he would be someone that if I'm going to move anyone, it is going to be Barry. Just because I do think the man's made of glass. There was once again another play where he got tackled and he's just holding his arm there again. And it's like, bro, why are you holding your arm? Why are you holding your shoulder? He's just ready to break. And I want him out of my team before that happens. Unfortunately, he hasn't been quite the cash cow we wanted. He's only gone up 100k, so I kind of want to keep him a bit longer to keep that cash flow happening. And I don't know if there's any good downgrade options to go to. But, oh man, every week he is scaring us because he just looks like he's broken. Dacos, 71. Actually had a pretty good game. Gets that DPP flex. We can move him with O'Driscoll. But honestly, out of him and O'Driscoll, okay, I'm never going to play Ward, Stephens, or McDonald over Dacos. So he definitely plays in the forward line. Where McCartan could potentially get played over O'Driscoll if I use the emergency loophole with Gibkiss if he continues to not play. So I think Dacos actually stays where he is at this current time. I know I kind of actually skipped over Gibkiss. If that man doesn't get back in the team, it's really painful. He's only gone up about 40k. He hasn't really done anything. And I don't know if he's getting back in the team. And even if he does, he's going to continue to be a slow burn. So what? Maybe he comes back in the team 3 weeks later and over the next 3 weeks he earns us 20k. It's not really much. It's not really doing too much at all. It might be worth moving him on, but I think I might move him on actually to get Proust into my team. Yeah, that's the switch I'll make. But can I get Hall to who I want? Yeah, we'll talk about that once we get to the trades. Sorry, getting ahead of myself here, guys. There's just so much happening this week. What an awesome week it is. Ward 65 bounced back, got that cash flow flowing now. Got that cash flow flowing now. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Cash flow flowing now. Awesome. 65. It's going to start moving. He is a bit of a slow burn at the moment too, but a 65 is good to get it rolling. Same with McDonald's. He got that 53. Since he doesn't have quite an elevated price, the 53 is also quite good to get it rolling. He still has that 23 cycle, so it's going to be a bit slow off next week and continue to be a bit slow, but he seems like he's going to keep getting games. If he can keep getting these 50 scores, he will be the slow burn we need. We want Ward to obviously get a bit more of that. Stevens, we just don't know when he's getting back in the team, if he is ever getting back in the team. He also has that terrible 23 in his score as well, so he's going to be a slow burn even when he gets back. Look, that's what I'm saying. We have all these rookies already not making us enough money. We can't afford to downgrade to rookies that aren't even playing, let alone rookies that haven't quite made their full cash yet. It's super hard decisions, and I think, as I said, I think it's not quite ready for upgrade season yet. Rucks, this is where everything fell apart. Anyone who was running Wits and, God, I blanked on his name. Oh my goodness. Bulldogs. English. There we go. Wits and English. Anyone that's started them, obviously, amazing. Value Rucks, full stop. But if you're running even one of them, and then, gone over Grundy right now, you're laughing. This is an awful game. 2 weeks in a row. Grundy, you're hurting us, mate. I think we obviously just keep holding him. Oh, not obviously. I think if you want to move him on, I feel justified to do that. He has not been good. Is he going to be part of the top 2 rucks at the end of the year? He's not even part of the top 5 now, I think. Maybe he's sitting around 5th. He's not looking good. Marshall obviously bounced back with a massive week, but I don't care about that. We made the correct decision moving Marshall on. Dixon, unfortunately, 54. We missed the rookie roulette again. I thought Dixon getting majority ruck time going into Laddams because Hickey's out injured. He could generally pick up a good score there. And it's one of those things where as much as Hayes has only dropped as low as I think a 57 is his lowest score, it did feel like Dixon was playing well and he just got a massive upgrade to his role. So it just felt like he was going to do much better. And Hayes, obviously, he played with Marshall in the first game, and it took him 4 goals to get that massive score. After that, second game, he didn't kick the goals, and that's when I think he had the 57. And then Ryder came back, and he also had another poor score. And, as much as he did have that big game in his cycle, and he obviously showed he could do it, I felt like Dixon had the good last week and had an upgrade to his role against a team missing their main ruck. I just thought he could do it. Unfortunately, slaps me in the face. Hayes was the way to go. Unfortunate there. Didn't see either of those games, so I don't know exactly what happened with Hayes. I don't know exactly what happened with Dixon. I think, obviously, a lot of people, it's Easter. We were busy with family, friends, whatever you were doing. Didn't sit down and watch these games. I might watch them in the week. I work from home myself, and I just chuck it on my second monitor while I'm doing my work. So I'm not, hardcore watching the games, but I'm seeing enough of them to, know what's happening. So, jumping into the forward line. Dunkley, 100. That's alright. I was actually considering Dunkley for the C over McRae and decided, Dunkley hasn't had the greatest season so far. McRae's pumped out some big scores, and I decided McRae was the way to go. And thank the Lord for that, because that would have hurt losing 53 more points on the incorrect captain choice. Heaney was the other one I was considering, going into West Coast, who were missing McGovern. I think he was out with COVID, so they're missing McGovern. I know they were missing Franklin, so technically they still had Barras to sort of cover Heaney, or whoever decides to cover Heaney. But I did think Heaney could pop out a big score, and I considered him, but once again decided unnecessary to consider that. I'm happy to go for the McRae. Once again, correct decision, but Heaney, another massive score. I didn't see that game, but still a great score. Butters 130. I did see this game for the most part. The one quarter I missed was the third quarter. So I leave at halftime seeing Port down by 50 points. I come back at the start of the fourth and it's like 3 goals in it. And I'm like, what has happened here? They exploded, the Power did, in that end of the game. And they made that run to catch Carlton. I reckon Carlton were sweating. Their supporters sweating. They ended up winning by 3 points in such a close game. And I forgot who it was that took just like an unnecessary kick at the end. I think Motlop might have done it. And he just didn't need to do it. And it really could have been a better kick. So, oh well. But, Butters pumped out the 130. That's the important part. We love that. 130, he bounced back. He had more mid-time with Wines out. And he was a part of a lot of things. Not really in the first quarter. First quarter was hella quiet. Second quarter, started to get a bit more involved. I think third quarter is where he picked up his real score, which was when I was not watching. But even in the fourth quarter, I saw him being very active. And I reckon he would have pumped out a lot of points in that fourth as well. So, yeah, awesome by Butters. Cogs, 96. Awesome. Looking good. Looking good. Sherry gets the DPP Ruck. Nice. The only thing I consider here is it's like, what am I going to do? Am I going to move Cherry with Hayes, run Cherry as R2, and there isn't anyone else I'd rather put on the field? Then I wouldn't put Durden or DeConning on field over Hayes unless like Hayes popped off. Like, I would need to DPP loop that. Sorry, not DPP. I would need to loophole that. So either way, I'm still going to play the same players on field. It's still going to be a choice between Dixon or Hayes, and Cherry's still going to be played on field. So it doesn't really change too much of what's happening right now, but it is a good R2 for later on to flip into there when I'm making my upgrades. So very useful. Martin gets the mid as well. That's going to be useful too. So yeah, he's making good cash. Another good game. Yeah, nice. He slowed down in the fourth a lot. But that's when Cardwell got a lot of his points, and at the end of the day, everyone's running Martin, so I'd much rather see Cardwell drop a 30-point quarter and him get 10 than the other way around, because since he's a huge pod for me, Cardwell works out way better. Durden, now you guys can't see that, so I'll scroll down. Got the 45 and DeConning 48. Not bad, slow burns. Not much more to say than that. They haven't quite made their money yet. They're burning away, and they'll get there. So awesome. Captains this week. What are we looking at? Actually, I can just stay down, can't I? Let's just see. I'm going to find that nice middle ground. That's not the middle ground I wanted. Oh my goodness. So annoying. Okay, I think that's good. No, you guys can't even see anyway. I'm just going to pump it out. Yeah, that works. That works. Everyone can see that now. Sorry, I was just so silly about that. Okay, who are we running? I think very obviously we're playing McRae as the vice. He's just been too reliable to not put a vice on him because it's 2 back-to-back 150 games. He started off with like a 140 as well. Too reliable. We chucked the VC on him. If Gigas is out, he's our loop. I'm sure if Stevens is out, he's our loop. Easy done. Now the real question is, who are we going to chuck the C on if that fails? Whew. That is a good question. That is a great question, actually. Wow. I'll be honest, what I planned on doing on next week's team was actually putting Hall as the VC, because next week they play, so not this round, but the round after they actually play Frio. No, is it the round after that? Oh god, it's round 8, is it? They versus Frio. Yeah. So Friday night, Fremantle, and Fremantle kicked the most behinds out of anyone. So I was really excited to get my cheeky Hall VC in that game, but we won't be getting that anymore, unfortunately. I don't know who's going to take monopoly of kickouts and transition for North anymore. Zeebel's playing forward now, so maybe Luke McDonald falls onto that. But yeah, sorry, trying to find out a captain for this week. I guess Neil makes sense into Gold Coast, but will he wear Ral? I think there's a chance he wears Ral. Oh man, if you got Parrish into Collingwood last season he dropped over 40 possessions almost 2 games in a row, dropped a 190 and a 160. He would definitely be my C option. I just don't have Parrish, so obviously I'm not looking at that. But if you're one of those unique players that's got Parrish, that big pod, yeah. I mean, look, he might get worn by Pendles like Neil did, so I guess that is the risk that we are looking to hard, not. Sorry, I was going to say hard pressure, so not quite tag, but like put pressure on players. I guess what Pendles did was sort of a tag. But he did leave Neil later on. I don't think he had the legs to run with Neil all game. I think, we maybe have to pump out... because Jared Berry will probably go to Miller and try and keep Miller down, so... It's a hard one to say, but I think you have to... I guess I have to go Neil. It's the only other consideration. Hewitt, maybe? I think we just got to bank in Neil. 2020's Brownlow medalist. We just got to believe in him. But look, let's be honest, we probably won't need it. McRae will probably come out with 150 again, so don't stress. Now, trades for me. We've got to bring in Bruce. No questions asked. And the only one there that's going to be a slow... As I said, even if Givkiss ends up getting back in the position, he's going to earn, over the next 2-3 weeks, 20 to 30k. That's still, he's only earned us 40, 70k? Like, he's not going to earn us very much. Or if we get Bruce in the team, that man's going to, boom, 100k in 2 weeks. So, he is a must-have. So, this is where we fling DeConning into the back line again. We can easily fling Dixon into the forwards. And then, boom, where's our Bruce? Where is he? Where's our man? There he is. Big bad Bruce. Boom. Only 39k to play with, and I'm pretty sure Hall has to go. As I said, I don't know exactly what the damage is, but no! Sinclair is who I wanted. Sinclair has looked really good. Zach Jones was back in the team this week, and it didn't look like that affected him at the end of the day. Yes, I need to check how far away Hunter Clark is, but I feel like Hunter Clark's still pretty injured. I'm going to check that out. Gosh, cap lock. Injury. God, why caps? Why does this happen to happen? 5th of March. 6 weeks out. Oh man, is he actually coming back soon? I thought he was maybe another 3 weeks away. And even if he was 3 weeks away, since St Kilda have first bye, I thought he gets 3 weeks of good scoring. Then even if he has a down week or two, then we flip him at his bye or whatever. But yeah, that's what I thought, honestly. And even if we bring him in now, he's playing that well that it'd be great to bring him in. And if it doesn't work out, we'd flip him at his bye either way. That sucks. That's really who I wanted, and I obviously can't get there. So Gibkiss is worth more than... the only way I could get there is with Hayes, but he's just restarted his cash gen. We're not doing that. Could technically move Ward on, but look, we have a non-playing rookie. He's the best option to leave for Bruce. He's the correct option at the end of the day. And we just got to accept that we're not getting Sinclair in it, unfortunately. Stephen May had a big game, really bounced back here. Wow. Pendles has looked good. At the end of the day, yes, he played a bunch of midfield, but he kind of did as a tagging role. But at the end of the day, if he keeps playing midfield, which I don't think he will, maybe. I was thinking he mainly did it for the tagging purposes, and then Lipinski would get more mid-time after that, so it would work out really well for me. Oh man, look how many Collingwood players I got. Man, you can tell I'm a Collingwood supporter. Sicily, nah, I don't like Sicily. I gotta be honest, I just don't like Sicily. He plays a lot of key position at the end of the day. And look, he's scoring great, which is awesome. But this man did technically have 90 points at half time, so he had a 36-point second half. That's the thing with Sicily. He can score well, but he can also pump out a 30. Sort of like Stephen May. They're these tall interceptors that also play lockdown roles, and because of that, they end up in these situations where, yes, they can have amazing games, but they can also very well pump out a 60 for you. And you don't want that kind of, I think, fluctuation. I think we want something that's a bit more stable and something that we can rely on a bit more. Look, I'm not bringing in Dale. I'm not bringing in Broad. Brayshaw's been doing well. Great if you started him. Good cash cow there. But not someone I'm going to. Luke Ryan, not someone I'm going to. Daniel Rich has lost too much to Zorko. If Zorko goes down, maybe he's an option. McGovern could be back next week, and he's doing well, but I don't think so. Ridley, Young. Stewart, but he's way too expensive. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think definitely the best option here. Zorko pumped out a good score this week, but the weeks before has not been good. Yeah, Heppel also pumped out a great score, but weeks before have not been good. Nah, I can't rely on any of these other players. I do not feel good hovering them, looking at them. Hind 44, wow. Darcy Moore, that's good for my draft. I slipped him in draft. Yeah. Yep, nah, I'm not interested in any of these players. We got to look at the top, and the top would have been Sinclair, but he is just out of range, and I am not making any other changes. Is there any other rookies that are needed this week? Okay, let's just cancel this for a second. We'll jump back and check all the players that had changed. We did talk about checking out the DPP. We already know what we're roughly looking at here, but yeah. DPP, so number 1 scoring player is awesome. Looks good. Heaney, number 6. Yeah, he's so good to get in. So glad we got that. Keys, good game. I guess I could. No, that's not going to work. I don't want any of those either. Sorry, just in my head I was thinking, what if I flip Dacos into the back line and then I bring in a premium midfielder because I can't afford Sinclair? Not a terrible play, but then I'm only really looking at, I think, Tom Green at that price. And I don't know if I want to take that risk with Tom Green. I honestly very much wanted Sinclair. I'm very sad at that. Oliver will be in next week's option. Yeah, I don't think we're going anywhere else on these upgrades this week because we have to side with Hall, unfortunately. But yeah, so let's look at these top mids. That's what we're meant to do. So top mids, it's basically what we see here. It's not really going to change too much. Cool. That's what we were expecting. What we really want to look at, top defenders overall. We sort of just saw them just then. Some people just got the DPP, like Pendles, who slips into 6th out of nowhere because he wasn't even in the backline before. Same with Brayshaw, slips into 15th. Yeah, and nobody I really want to see here that's picked it up. So, what else do we have? I wanted to see the forward line as well. Toronto already had it. Oh, Lipinski actually 5th highest forward. He is a forward keeper right now. Lipinski's come in massive as a starter for us. Yes, we didn't start Hewitt, but we started Lipinski. They were both keepers technically. Yes, Hewitt made a little bit more money. As I said, outscored by 80 points, made like 20 more grand, but he's still a great pickup, Lipinski. So this has worked out great for us Lipinski owners that it worked out this week that Pendlebury did the tagging role and Lipinski started off half forward. He got the forward DPP, 5th overall. He's a keeper. We've got him. We've locked him in. Great decision not to trade him. If we traded him, we were actually trolling, so thank the Lord. Will Brody, also 6th place. Keeper looking right now. Zach Butters looking at a keeper. We'll look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our 6 right there. We don't even have to move in these other guys. Obviously, why not? Because if we can bump up an extra 10 points around, or if we can, bump up as much as an extra 21 points around, why would we not? So, yeah, maybe we flip them at buys or something like that. But right now, we don't really have to do anything with our forward line. Our forward line looks good, which is awesome. It's actually amazing. I'm so happy with that. Luke Parker got the DPP. He got a 123 this week, and he dropped in cash. We could slip him into our forward lines as well. I actually really like Luke Parker as a player. He came in big for me for a lot of my drafts over the last few years, but not someone I've played with in Classic. I do like Parker as a player. I do. But he's also someone that has those really big down games. I don't know if that's because he's parked forward all game. They do love the parking forward. But yeah, Liberatore, he got the forward. But do we really want someone averaging 92? At the end of the day, we want these top 10 in our team. 6 of the top 10. And technically, Parker and Liberatore fall out of that. But we don't technically want the top 10 right now. We want the top 10 going forward. Do we think Parker will be top 10 scoring forward? Well, we don't even really want top 10. Will he be a top 6 scoring forward for the rest of the year moving forward? He's definitely a candidate. But yeah, I think our forward line's pretty set right now. We don't really need to talk too much about it. Our forward line's set. For all those other people that are looking at upgrade options in the forward line, Parker's an awesome one to grab. Liberatore's pretty cool to get there, but dogs do share points a lot, so I think Parker's definitely high priority. But definitely the Lipinski. That's the biggest one there. That is massive. That is so good that we already own him. We're a step ahead of the competition because of that. So good. But this is what I was talking about. There we go. Brody Grundy sitting at 5th overall in points. Barely above Luke Jackson. Marshall came back, but still pretty bad. Cherry at least 8th overall, so... But we want top 2. Worst case scenario, end up with 3rd. But I think we have to just bank in Grundy to come back. He's highly owned. But if we keep him another week, he will be bad. This is the other thing we could potentially look at. I mean, if we were to boost and move Grundy sideways, Grundy's going to be losing big money. 104 still loses 20k. If he doesn't even get there, he could lose more. What is Witt's potentially looking at? Witt's 105, he gains 30k. This could be potentially a 50k switch, which we want it to at least be 150k, which it could be potentially over time, but more or less it could be a big points grab moving forward with Wits. So that's like we could technically do it. If we moved Grundy to Wits, it would give us enough money for Sinclair, but I don't want to waste a power trade going sideways. I think we're banking Grundy to come back. I'm going to do it. I'm talking about this, but I'm not ever going to do that. Cherry, yeah, he's just going to be banking on our side as well for a bit. So yeah, we got to look at these, and awesome. So this will definitely help with our decision. Gibkiss, at the end of the day, he has to go. If we do fling Dacos into the back, we're moving on hole 2. We're flinging DeConning into the back, and we could run with Driscoll on the field instead, sort of thing. So if we move them around. Oh, whoops. That was not what I was trying to do. Whoopsie daisy. Hey, that worked out, actually. Got him to where I want him. Then we technically still get the Bruce effect. But we could technically grab Tom Green now. That works out. We have 4k in the bank. I hate the idea of GWS players, though. And as much as Tom Green looks like he's broken out, is he top 8 in his role? Is he top 8? God, I don't know if he is. But for his price, he is undoubtedly a steal. I mean, even if he ends up dropping down to maybe 10th in the season, we're still getting him for 60k cheaper than what he's probably worth. Because I think 10th would at minimum be 600k player. 10th plus at least. You're probably looking at top 15 being 600k players plus. So he's still value at his price if he ends up even 10th overall. But is he 10th moving forward for every game? He's already had great scores in his cycle. Technically his average is 124, but if he only averages 110 for the rest of the year, that's really dropping down to like, maybe like a 17th, and that's not really what we want. Do we end up flipping him later on at the buys maybe? That could be an option, because we have to get someone else in our team. Tom Green is now highly owned too. 18% have him. He's up against St. Kilda. He could score well against them. Oh man, his history. I don't think we can go off his history though. He is a different player this year. He is a different man. Different game. Look at these scores he's pumping out. It's not even close. Previously, his high score against Sydney was 88. Now it's 164. So we can't look at this and think, oh man, he's never really... Like, yes, we know he's never done it before. He's a breakout year. The question is, will this breakout continue? And if I do want to flip him at his bye, that's before the North game. How easy is his run till then? He does have Adelaide in there. And West Coast. I'd say 2 easy games out of 6. I just don't know. I just don't know if Tom Green's the play. I mean, look, technically if he keeps going at this rate, he's going to end up way over 600k, so he's definitely good. And look, as I said, who else am I really looking at? I can't get Sinclair. Meaning that I would have to move down to a Sicily or something, and I don't want a Sicily. So yeah, just once again, back to the hypothetical. Let's jump here. I don't know what happened to Sicily. I filtered for mids. That is what I have done. There we go. That makes more sense. I mean, Pendles, as I said, he isn't a bad option. He isn't a bad option. Technically, though, he's about the same price as Tom Green, though. And I think Tom Green's going to outscore him at bare minimum. Maybe Pendles continues with this 105 average he's getting. I think that's maybe the best case scenario. 105 average. Great. Maybe that's a top 6 defender. But Tom Green's going to be 10 points, at least 5 points more than that at minimum, I'm thinking. So even if he's, technically in my midfield, which isn't, what we want, he's not a top 8, he's going to technically be outscoring Pendles. Am I really going to do anything else in the meantime? Like, let's talk about this hypothetically. Maybe I bring Tom Green in, and then a few weeks later I bring in Pendles, but Tom Green's outscored him by 5 points for those 3 rounds. So technically 15 points in total. Yeah, not a huge gap, but every point makes a difference. So I think that's the correct play. Tom Green is going to be more points right now, and at the end of the day, I have the room for him. And it's not like I'm going to fill up my midfield anytime soon, so it doesn't really matter. I'm probably not even going to fill up my defense anytime soon because these guys are moneymakers. Everyone's moneymakers, actually. It's so hard to decide who to trade out. It is tight. But I think I've been rambling on too long. I think I'm going to bank in the green. We're bringing in Bruce and Green. We're bringing in the 2 GWS boys this week. I hate the idea of having more GWS boys in my team. But this does bring up the discussion. Do I actually VC the Green and see the McRae? Wow. I love it. He has pumped out some big scores. He is looking good. And I don't know, Saints have been a bit up and down, but they have definitely let scoring go their way, I think. And I don't know if anyone's going to tag Green. I think this could be it. Because I feel 100% confident putting McRae as captain. I feel like it's one of those things where even if I put him as vice, I'm almost guaranteed to use that vice. Which is probably a good thing. You want to feel that way. But that's the other thing. Am I guaranteed to use him as vice? What happens if Tom Green pumps out a 130? Do I keep it? Because McRae's been on fire. No, I don't think I can do that. Technically speaking, I think McRae's been on track. I think Tom Green might bait me into taking like a 130, 140. McRae comes out with a 150. Doesn't work out. Maybe Green gets a 115. And then McRae, I feel like I want to stay for McRae no matter what. So I want that McRae VC no matter what. So it's pointless having Green as VC unless he's going to pump out a 160. And I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I did love the idea, but I think this is the correct play, actually. Just reversing what we did last week. Yeah, that looks awesome. I'm super happy with this team. It's a big week, guys, so really enjoy it. The Lipinski keeper, let's just move him down there in his keeper position. The forward line looks awesome. I love it. Actually could work out better this way because then I can actually loophole Nick Martin. No, no, they're versing Sydney. I can't loophole like that. Yeah, no, I can't loophole like that. That's not going to happen. Geelong's playing before, so we would much rather Geelong have this than Richmond come on. But it's already after the Collingwood... Oh, not after the Collingwood game. But am I ever going to move McCartan for Dacos? No, I'd much rather... Yeah, no, I'm never going to be like, oh my goodness. Oh, no, I don't have that loophole anymore. Don't worry about it. I'm just rambling for no reason, guys. But yes... I think actually an awesome week. We've made some great trades the last few weeks that have netted us some bonus points and really kept us alive in this Supercoach race. Sorry, my brain just keeps working after I keep talking. I'm pretty sure that GWS have the first bye. What I kind of want to do is overload for round 14 bye. Last year I was traveling very well, sitting around 600 to 900 up and down constantly. Hit the buys and I dropped to beyond 3k, and then I had to crawl back into 1700 to finish the year. And that was because I tried to space out even amount of premiums in each buy, and it just didn't work out. What I found out was all the people that overloaded their round 3, their final round bye, meant that they had great round 1 score, great round 2 score, and then in the final round, they just power traded a bunch of players and actually salvaged not a terrible score, but since they had 2 great scores before it just worked out beneficial overall. So I'm thinking that's what I want to do, maybe overload my final bye. Pendlebury technically overloads my final bye. But Tom Green plays towards the first bye, which kind of isn't good, because then I just don't have him playing and then he comes back, because I'm not going to, I hate the idea of flipping someone on the first bye, because then the person you side with them to is going to miss a game either the next week or the week after. So it kind of defeats the purpose. I love the idea of flipping someone in the second round bye for someone in the first round bye, because great, then you're still going to get them for the next 2 games, or flipping, final round bye for first or second round bye. So that's what I would much rather do, and that's actually making me consider the Pendles over the Green. Oh, man. But do I get Green later on anyway? Is Green someone I pick up after his buys if he continues to go on this stretch? As we talked about, GWS's matches aren't kind of crazy. His matches actually, I think, got better after his bye. Yeah, he picks up North, he picks up us, and we give up points. Hawthorn, Porter giving up points. Oh, there's some good games there. Essendon give up points. I don't really know how he'll go into the Sydney and Brisbane. I think he could score well into the Carlton game, maybe into the Doggies game, and definitely into the Freo game. Only 92 last time against Freo. He's not playing Melbourne again. He's not playing Gold Coast again. He's not playing Richmond again. And he is playing Swans again, who actually dropped the 164 on, actually. We talked about that earlier. So maybe we grab Green after his bye because he kind of has a better run after the bye than before. Yes, we missed the West Coast and Adelaide game, but I don't know about these other 4 teams. And I guess that gives more time to see if Tom Green's actually a keeper. Because what I'm thinking now is we bring him in, flip him at a bye, but he's first round bye. So why am I going to flip someone on the first round bye? That's terrible. Yep, look, I've thought about it. This is usually what happens during the week, guys, and why you don't see my trades happening. Because I'll sit here and I'll think about it like this, and I'll think about it 20 times over, and then I'll finally decide on what I'm doing. And it does keep my flip with my O'Driscoll and my Dacos available. I think this is better. I think this is actually better. Defenders have not been scoring well this season. Pendles is doing well. His round 14 bye to flip if I need. And, well, there's nothing wrong with having more Collingwood players in my team because then I get to root for us even more. So, yeah, no, I think this is better. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously I always talk about my round reviews, what I thought about before I made, like, obviously I'll end my round reviews and I didn't make my trades or anything, and then I get to the round review the next week and I talk about the trades I did the week before and my thought process that's happened. This is usually the thought process that's happening throughout the week, and I go back and forth 3 or 4 times, but I think this is actually the correct play to make. I am very happy with this play, actually. I know this has rambled on for way too long, so I'm so sorry for the super long video. I'm so sorry for my thought process just keeps pumping more energy in, but I think this is good. We got the 5 keepers down back, maybe a flip with Pendles. O'Driscoll's going to be great on field. If for some reason one of these other 2 don't end up playing, we can always use him as an emergency and loophole him on field if he has a good score, but I think I'll just field him. That's like actually, okay, once again, off tangent again, but Gibkiss ruined me last week with the on field. I was going to run O'Driscoll on field if all 3 of them played because I feel like he had the highest ceiling and most likely to score the highest. But then Gibkiss doesn't play and McCartan scores a decent enough score to be like, that's not bad for a rookie, I'll use him as a loophole. So if Gibkiss actually got bloody named, I would have played O'Driscoll on the field and banked 35 extra points. So Gibkiss, I blame that one on you, mate. But yeah, so I think we just probably run O'Driscoll on field. This looks pretty good. I'm very happy with the mid prices here. And yeah, Lipinski down in his keeper position where he deserves to be. Honestly, these guys could all be keepers. Like, this is great. And then Prue's coming in to really make us some money. Team, I think, is looking awesome. Let's count out our keepers. So let's just say we got the 5 in the back line. Well, 5 premiums. 3 in the midfield. So 8. Only the 1 in the ruck, 9. But then at minimum 4. So 13. And if you count Cogs, 14. So we're kind of at a 14, 13 and a half premium team. I think a lot of people are counting Cogs. So it's looking bloody good. I mean, technically, once again, Brody was also someone that was 6th behind Lipinski's 5th, I think. So technically that makes more sense for the keepers because technically Brody's doing better than Cogs to be a keeper. So maybe even if we count Cogs and Brody as maybe half a keeper each, I think that pushes us to 14 keepers overall. I mean, how can I say Brody's not a keeper when he's scoring as well as Butters and Lipinski? So yeah, they very much could be. So yeah, team's looking awesome, guys. The weeks, they're going to get better. This was a down week for us, and we actually didn't retract too much. I think we are going to go up the ranks over the next few weeks. I think we're making the correct trades, 3 correct trades in a row that have netted us more points, made more value for the team, and just been really good outcomes. I think we've made the correct play again this week with Pendles and getting Prusin. And I think it's just going to work better overall. Even if Green does outscore him by those few points, I think it's just going to work a lot better flipping him at the buys. And yeah, as I said, maybe outscores him by 5 points every game. Technically, Green's buys in 6 games, 30 points. Pendle's 2 more, 40 points. So, is it really that drastic? It's not. It's not. Technically, he's outscoring him by 20 right now. But I think, hypothetically, Green's more of a 110 average versus a Pendle 1.5 average. So, that's what I think. That's at least what I'm hoping for. Because if Green goes nuts, I'm going to look at this and look pretty silly. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. As I said, I really appreciate those that have subscribed, those that have left comments. As I said, I always get back to those. And I just appreciate the views in general, guys. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. Thanks for sticking around to the end for those that did. And I'll let y'all get on with the rest of your day. Peace later. Love y'all.